Alright, with the Fuxi Bull, Marcus on CC5 numbers after the name. A little Marcus and Friends action over here. A little For Honor. How about that? For Honor. Bet you weren't expecting that, man. I had to put this footage up, man, before it gets too old and before I don't even know what to say anymore about this game, man. So they gave it away for free on Xbox Games with Gold a couple months ago. I want to say maybe like August, maybe August or July, one of those. And I told the captain, you know, we were kind of playing World War II a lot of that time and stuff, but we want to diversify our bonds a little bit. And I was like, yo, pop this sucker on over here, man. Let's give this a go. Let's give this a try, man. And I think he ended up playing it maybe once or twice without me, and then I kind of got in there and it had like a wild tutorial and stuff. Listen, I knew from the get-go I wasn't gonna like For Honor. When like they announced the game, I'll never forget. It was like, ooh, Viking Samurai and whatever, and I was like, all right. Like at the beginning, I'm like, that's so cool. That could be something I'm into. And it's like 5v5 multiplayer, and I'm like, nah, done, gone, bye-bye, not doing it. I was like, nah, that's not me. That's not something I do. And then I heard about like the mechanics of the game, just how it works, just the fact that like there's different stances and all this stuff. Don't get me wrong, nothing I'm gonna say here should not make you want to play the game. Go ahead. If this is something that you feel that you will enjoy, then you probably will enjoy it and knock yourself out. Have fun with it. I did it. There wasn't even like a part of me that was like, nah, man, I ain't interested in all that, dude. I'm hack and slash arcadey all day. Don't let me think a little bit. Let me think as in like, let me think about how I'm going to flank these guys or whether I'm going to take this guy out or not. Let me make those strategic decisions. But I ain't really interested in the whole like stat thing or anything like that. Like, ain't nobody got time for that. And that's all you'll notice. I play like a brew. I play ignorant as hell. I'm just like hella throwing myself all over the place and stuff and enjoying it. I had fun, but I mean, obviously I didn't do good in any way, shape, or form, and I wasn't really too fascinated by the game or its mechanics. There seems to be a couple modes, like a TDM or something. This seems to be almost like a domination kind of mode that we're playing here, which I think is what it kind of defaulted. Well, it did seem pretty cool, and I didn't get like fully fleshed into it. It was, as you'll notice, I played maybe like 4 or 5 matches, and I was like, cool, I think I'm set for life. We could delete this game, even though I still have it installed, so maybe one day I'll come back. But it seems like the multiplayer matches not only affect, you know, just like who wins that game, for example, but it also could be carried on into more of a global kind of sphere where like you're getting points for like your faction or whatever on a global level, and there's different seasons and stuff like that. The whole Ubisoft thing. Ubisoft has done a whole like they've mastered. I don't want to say they've mastered because I don't even know anyone who plays their games, but they've created a niche, a very strong and big niche for people that like to play like multiplayer games and make them like their lives, games with services kind of games, right? They've gone through a phase of that where, and they still do make like your Assassin's Creed and stuff like that, but before it used to be more like, hey, here's Assassin's Creed, here's like Rayman, here's like Rainbow Six, here's this and that. Rainbow Six, like, you know, single player Rainbow Six with maybe a multiplayer component. Now it's like, here's a Division, here's For Honor. I assume Skull and Bones is probably like that too. I don't even know, but let's just assume it is. Here's Division 2. I imagine For Honor 2 will come out at some point over here. They have a lot of those games without Rainbow Six the Siege or whatever. A lot of these games that they've kind of developed into games with services and games that even when they come out aren't that great, but they get better over time. They've mastered that as well. Which is good, which is fine. I'm just not interested. I have one game that's a game with for servers, a game as a service, and that's Call of Duty. That's kind of been my game as a service for the last, I don't want to say 15, last like 8, 9 years, and I'm pretty cool with that. I'm pretty cool with throwing probably excessive amounts of time into a game for no reason except for the fact that it's entertaining. I can't diversify and I can't justify flipping over to another game. I just don't have like enough time over there. I look at it like right now I'm like heavy into like Red Dead Redemption and stuff like that. I'm cool with throwing into a single player experience that I know is gonna be, hey, like it's gonna take a while. I'm gonna enjoy this, but once I'm done, I'm done. And I can play it again if I want to, but I can also just not touch it. Whereas these games are always kind of like, I'm grinding to the next thing. I'm gonna keep it moving over here, and that's what makes it fun. But that's why I can't get down with a lot of this Ubisoft stuff over here, man. Like, I'm going to get to the Assassin's Creed Odyssey at some point here coming up. And I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to love it. But one of the things I'm going to love the most is that it's finite. You know, like the finality of games is something that I enjoy. And I enjoy games that respect my time. In terms of what I'm putting into it, it's given back out to me. Whether that be in terms of fun, whether that be in terms of progress. I mean, fun is always kind of your number one ingredient. I don't play a game if it ain't fun. I don't care what the hell it is. I can play Red Dead. If I play for 5 hours and I look at it and I say, this game is trash, I don't care about the hype. I don't care about how much money I spent on it. It's done. Like, that ain't worth my time. So far, it hasn't happened with Red Dead, by the way. But I will say this about Red Dead, and I'll post the footage on the channel talking about it here shortly. It's slow. Like the beginning part is slow. Like, I'm enjoying it, but woo, like it's slow. I had a mission too where I like lost my horse and stuff, and I was like, so now what? Like, I gotta run it back, or I gotta steal a horse. So, like, what the hell? I always forget I'm an outlaw too. I gotta be more of a bad boy. But anyway, For Honor. A little bit cumbersome for me. I didn't really like the fighting mechanics of the game, although I'll tout them for being good. I'm not going to dispute that what they were trying to do didn't work. Like, it does. Like, if actually like what they tried to do exists and works in this world, and you're able to do the counters and read the opponents and stuff like that, and there is a valid fighting mechanic. It's just not one that I'm interested in. It's not one that I find necessarily fun and entertaining. The different modes, like I play the team deathmatch kind of one, this domination one. Sometimes there's stuff that happens that I still haven't fully understood how they ended. I do know that there's kind of a way for the other team to get like a second chance kind of thing, but I didn't fully grasp how that ended. It was a little bit complicated even to kind of get into a multiplayer game, which is kind of stupid, but it took us a little bit longer than we needed to figure out like how the hell to join each other and stuff like that. Little minutia that I'm sure once you play like a couple times you kind of get used to, but that first impact, the first impression is kind of like, ooh. The 40-minute tutorial in itself is something you need, and you better pay attention because that's how you play the game. But that to me was just another negative on the game, the fact that I need a 40-minute tutorial. Ultimately, you can pick up Call of Duty and learn how to play that thing in like 3 or 4 games. You won't know all the nuances, right? You might not know exactly like what that perk does in all its facets. But you'll know how to set like a class. You'll know that like this gun does this. You'll know that like RB throws a grenade. And you can kind of figure it out, the basics from there. And the basic being like aim down with like LT and shoot with like RT. That's like the basic. Here, that part's like even kind of complicated as to like how the hell like because you have to do different stances and stuff like that. So it's a fine game. I think for what Ubisoft was trying to do, I'm sure it worked, and I'm sure it's what they wanted to do. But it ain't something I'm gonna be spending too much time with, and I'll be shocked if you see another 4-hour video over here. But you never say never, man. And maybe I run it back, and maybe it speaks to me, and then maybe I become a For Honor channel. You never know. I doubt it though. Deuces.